going to do. So we want to prove a theorem called spectral theorem. So it has many versions. One version is for real symmetric matrices. Another version is for Hermitian matrices. Remember, Hermitian matrix is a complex square matrix, so that A star equal to A. And real symmetric matrix is a matrix with real entries, so that A transpose is A. And real Hermitian matrix is nothing but real symmetric matrix. Then we will also show an equivalent formulation for what are called normal matrices. Normal matrices are defined by the condition that A and A star, they commute with each other. And there are many examples of normal matrices. Symmetric matrices, skew symmetric matrices, then Hermitian, skew Hermitian. It's a big class of matrices. And orthogonal matrices. Remember, orthogonal matrix, A is a real matrix. It is orthogonal if the column vectors form a orthonormal basis of Rn. That is same as saying that A transpose A equal to A transpose equal to identity. Okay, this is orthogonal matrix. So you see, A and A transpose are commuting with each other because both are identity matrix. And so orthogonal matrix is a normal matrix. We can also look at unitary matrices. Unitary matrix, it is a complex analog of orthogonal matrix. So it's a matrix with complex entries, and we say U is unitary if the column vectors constitute orthonormal basis. They constitute orthonormal basis of Cn. Yeah, the column vectors of U are orthonormal basis of the n-dimensional complex vector space Cn. And in Cn, inner product, remember inner product in Cn, suppose I have two column vectors in Cn, then their inner product is defined to be U star V. So U star is the complex conjugate transpose of the column vector U. So this is a row vector. Okay, so take the column vector U, then take its transpose, that is a row vector, and then take conjugate of every entry, that is this row vector U star. Okay, so you take U star times V, this is matrix product. You can multiply a row vector and a column vector which have same number of components as matrices. So this is matrix multiplication. So that is the inner product we consider. This is also called Hermitian inner product on the n-dimensional complex vector space. Okay, so unitary matrices, orthogonal matrices, Hermitian matrices, skew Hermitian matrices, symmetric matrices, skew Hermitian matrices, symmetric, skew symmetric, they are all examples of normal matrices because A and A star, they commute with each other. And we are going to prove spectral theorem for normal matrices also. So that says, so the general spectral theorem says that if I am given a matrix of certain type, then there is a basis of eigenvectors. Okay, there is a basis of eigenvectors. So if my matrix is real, okay, if my matrix is real matrix, n by n, then to say that we have a spectral theorem for A means that there is a basis of eigenvectors which is orthonormal basis of Rn, and these are all eigenvectors. So that means AUI equal to lambda I times UI. Another way of saying that is if I multiply the matrix A with the matrix U, whose column vectors are u1 up to un, then this is AU is same as U times the diagonal matrix. The diagonal matrix has diagonal entries as eigenvalues, corresponding eigenvalues. So AUI equal to lambda IUI can be written in terms of matrix product. AU is equal to U times this, but U is a orthogonal matrix because the column vectors are forming orthonormal basis of Rn. So this U is orthogonal matrix. So U transpose U equal to identity. So inverse of U is simply U transpose. So I multiply this equation by U transpose on both sides. So I get U transpose AU is this diagonal matrix. So that is the spectral theorem for real symmetric matrices. Yeah. If I say it's a normal matrix and I want a spectral theorem for that, normal matrix are in general complex matrices. So I have a n by n complex matrix which commutes with itself. Then it says that there is a basis of eigenvectors of Cn of the given matrix, and that will translate into the following fact that U star AU is equal to diagonal matrix. Yeah. So this is the real analog and this is the complex analog of spectral theorem. And we have seen the fact about how the matrix of a linear transformation changes. Yeah, when you change the basis. Okay. So this says that A U transpose U equal to diagonal matrix. Yeah. So if I look at the linear transformation TA from Rn to Rn, which is simply taking a vector U and mapping to AU, that's the linear transformation induced by A. And if I choose a basis, if I take the basis B consisting of column vectors of A, this is a orthonormal basis, and I can construct the matrix of TA with respect to this orthonormal basis of eigenvectors. Okay, how to construct this matrix? Well, this is going to be a n by n matrix. And how do I get the first first column vector? Well, I apply TA on the first basis vector. Okay, and take its image, that is AU1, but AU1 is lambda 1 U1. So it is simply the coordinate vector of AU1 is simply lambda 1, 0, 0, etc. Then to get the second column vector of the matrix of TA with respect to the spaces B of eigenvectors of A is simply take TA acting on U2, that is equal to AU2, and that is lambda 2 U2. And so the second column vector is the coordinate vector of AU2, which is simply 0, lambda 2, 0, etc. Okay, so that's how it continues. So this shows that the matrix of the linear transformation induced by A with respect to the basis of eigenvectors of A is simply this diagonal matrix. Yeah, diagonal matrix is a very simple matrix to understand, right? So therefore, we whenever possible we try to find a orthonormal basis of eigenvectors of a matrix to understand the matrix better. Yeah. For example, what is the rank of the matrix A? Rank of matrix A is same as rank of U transpose AU, because these are invertible matrices. But this is diagonal matrix. So for diagonal matrix, it's very easy to read the rank. Rank is simply number of non-zero eigenvalues. Yeah, number of non-zero eigenvalues with counted with multiplicity. Okay, so you can read the rank very easily if you change the basis to the orthonormal basis of eigenvectors. Okay, so that's the utility of spectral theorem, that your given linear transformation has a very simple formula if you change your basis. All right, so let us start proving these theorems, and then we will see many applications. Okay, and as I explained last time, we want to prove these spectral theorems for linear operators. Yeah, we want to prove them for linear operators because the approach is simplified if we prove the theorem for linear operator. Yeah. So what was a self-adjoint operator? So if I have T from V to V, a linear operator, then this is called self-adjoint. And V is a inner product space. This is finite dimensional inner product space. Suppose dimension of V equal to N. Then we say this T is self-adjoint if the following condition holds, that the inner product of TU with V is equal to inner product of U with TV for all pairs of vectors in the vector space. This is my definition of self-adjoint property. And if I take a symmetric matrix, suppose A is a symmetric matrix, then TA is self-adjoint. Okay. If I take a Hermitian matrix, A star equal to A, then TA from Cn to Cn is self-adjoint. Okay. So the symmetry of a real matrix is translated into the property of the linear transformation which is induced by A, that the linear transformation induced by a real symmetric matrix is a self-adjoint operator. Similarly, if I take the linear transformation induced by a Hermitian matrix, then the induced linear transformation is self-adjoint operator of the complex n-dimensional vector space Cn. So if we prove a theorem for self-adjoint operators on a finite dimensional uniproduct space, it will imply the same theorem for real symmetric matrices and Hermitian matrices. So it is a more economical way of proving results. So we will first characterize the self-adjoint operator. So this is the general definition of self-adjoint operator. Yeah. We want to characterize the self-adjoint operator in terms of matrices. Okay, so let us see what is that characterization first. So suppose I have a finite dimensional inner product space and it is over a field of scalars, because we are treating real field and complex field in the same theorem. Yeah, so we say real inner product space or complex vector space. We say it's a inner product space over the field f of scalars and fix that field. And suppose I have a linear operator from V to V. Okay, then T is self-adjoint if and only if I take the matrix of T with respect to any orthonormal ordered basis of V, then the matrix is self-adjoint. That means if it is real matrix, it is symmetric. If it is complex matrix, it is Hermitian. Okay, to say a matrix is self-adjoint means either it is real symmetric or it is Hermitian if it is complex. Okay, so the self-adjoint property of a linear operator can be characterized by constructing its matrix. So look at the matrix with respect to any ordered basis, but it should be orthonormal basis. It is not arbitrary basis. It is a orthonormal basis. So you have orthonormal basis, fix a orthonormal basis which you can construct if your inner product space is finite dimensional and you have access to a basis, apply Gram-Schmidt process and construct a orthonormal basis, and then construct the matrix of this linear operator with respect to this orthonormal basis. If it is self-adjoint, then and only then the given linear operator is self-adjoint. So let us prove this fact. So pick any ordered orthonormal basis. Yeah, pick any ordered orthonormal basis. Suppose this is V1, V2, Vn. It is ordered, so I have fixed the ordering on the basis elements. Yeah. Suppose I assume that it is self-adjoint. Then I want to prove that the matrix of T with respect to the basis B, yeah, is self-adjoint. Yeah. So so I need to prove that A equal to A star. Yeah, I need to prove A equal to A star if it is complex matrix, or I prove that A equal to A transpose if it is a real symmetric matrix. Okay, so let us calculate the matrix of T with respect to this given ordered orthonormal basis. So how to calculate the matrix of T with respect to a basis? Well, operate T on the basis elements and then take the image, find out the coordinate vector of the images of the basis elements with respect to the same basis. Those are the column vectors of the matrix. So take the jth basis element and apply T on this. So it is a linear combination of V1 up to Vn. So write this linear combination, and these coefficients akj, these coefficient akj, they are in the field of scalars, and V1 up to Vn is the ordered basis. So I have written down the coordinate vector. Yeah. So these akj's, they will go into the jth column of the matrix, right? And then look at the inner product of tvj with vi, because to see to understand the self-adjoint property, we can use this fact that the inner product of tvj with vi is equal to inner product of vj with tvi. Okay, so tvj is this vector, and take the inner product with the vi. The inner product is conjugate linear. Okay, it is conjugate linear, and vi and vk, they are perpendicular if k is not equal to I. Or if I take the inner product of vi with vi, I will get the number 1, because my basis is orthonormal basis. The vectors are having unit length and they are mutually perpendicular. So this will say that it is equal to aij bar. Yeah, this inner product tvj vi is aij bar, because I take inner product of vi with vk, then it is going to be 0 if k is not equal to I. It is going to be 1 if k equal to I. But when I put k equal to I, akj becomes aij. But this akj is in the first coordinate of this inner product, so its complex conjugate comes out. So I get aij bar. Okay, that is the inner product of tvj with vi. Now, self-adjoint property says that inner product of tvj with vi is same as inner product of vj with tvi. So I calculate now inner product of vj with tvi. This is vj and this is tvi. Okay, this is tvi, and when I take inner product of vj with vk, I get 0 if k is not equal to j, and I get 1 if k equal to j, and therefore but this coefficient aki will come out as aki because it is lying in the second coordinate. Okay, that is the conjugate linear property of linear operators on complex inner product space, that the coefficients in the second coordinate come out as they are, but if there is a complex number in the first coordinate, then its conjugate comes out of the inner product. So it is equal to aji. Okay, but T is self-adjoint, and therefore these two numbers are equal, and therefore it says that aij bar is equal to aji, and that simply says that the matrix A is self-adjoint. Yeah, this says that the matrix A is self-adjoint. So we have proved that if I take a self-adjoint linear operator and I pick any orthonormal basis, then the matrix of this self-adjoint operator with respect to this given orthonormal basis is going to be a self-adjoint matrix. A star will be equal to A. Now we have to prove the converse. That is, suppose the matrix is self-adjoint, then I want to show that the linear operator is also self-adjoint. So we have to prove this property of T with respect to the inner product, assuming that the matrix is self-adjoint. Yeah, but this is almost clear from this calculation, because to prove that T is self-adjoint, I have to prove this equality, but tvj vi we have calculated. Yeah, and if A is self-adjoint, then aij bar is equal to aji, so therefore these two inner products are same. So all the steps can be reversed. Yeah, okay, all the steps can be reversed, and so but you see this I proved this for basis vectors, but we have to actually prove it for any pair of vectors. So to prove that is a linear operator from V to V is self-adjoint, I have to prove this for any pair of vectors. Tu inner product with V is same as U inner product with TV. Yeah, so we have proved this for whenever I pair of vectors is taken from orthonormal basis. Now I prove it for arbitrary basis vectors, arbitrary vectors. So take an arbitrary vector in V. It is a linear combination of Vj's. Another vector Y, which is linear combination of Vi's with coefficients Bi. Now construct the inner product X with Ty. Ty. So X is summation Aj Vj, and Ty is equal to, yeah, y is equal to this. So when I operate T on this, I will simply get summation bi tvi because t is a linear transformation. Yeah. So I have the inner product of these vectors. Yeah. But tv by bilinearity and conjugate linear, aj bar vi comes out of this, and I get vj tvi. Okay, when I apply bilinearity and conjugate linear property of inner product, then I get this. Yeah. Similarly, calculate the inner product of tx with y. I need to prove that these two are equal if I want to show that t is self-adjoint. Well, calculate in similar way, calculate the inner product of tx with y, and I will get this. Okay, I will get this, right? So, but we have proved that these two things are equal for the basis vectors, and therefore these two are also equal. Okay. So therefore the given linear operator is self-adjoint if its matrix with respect to any orthonormal basis is self-adjoint. Yeah. Okay. So that's the characterization of self-adjoint operators, that if I take the matrix with respect to any orthonormal basis of a self-adjoint operator, then that matrix is self-adjoint. If it is real, it is symmetric. If it is complex, it is Hermitian. Okay.